just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Welcome to the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and the rumors continue to circulate about Hendon Hooker potentially entering the NFL draft. We'll get into it. We'll discuss those. But this team still got some business left to take care of. And I think it's kind of strange. The fan base almost seems to be, I don't know. It's just like they're not, that energy level is not there. Maybe it's because Tennessee has South Alabama. Tennessee's going to be a 28-point favorite in that game. And then they're going to follow that up in the season with Vanderbilt. And I think they will also be a heavy favorite in that. And maybe this fan base is exhausted from coming out of the emotional stretch, the gauntlet of games that they've gone through the past few weeks. But it's just been a season of highs and lows, going all the way back to the quarterback controversy to start the season, the emotional loss to Pittsburgh, another loss to Florida, but then you bounce back, high-octane performances against Missouri and South Carolina, and then they entered that gauntlet with Ole Miss, Alabama, Kentucky, and Georgia. It's been an emotional season, but overall, when you look back through this year, when you look back through the season that was 2021, you have to be proud of this football team, a football team that going into the year, people were predicting to win 3 and 4 games. I know some of us believed in this team. Some of us believed in the talent that was going to be coming into this season. But the overall perception was that Tennessee was not going to be very good. And if I told you that Tennessee was going to have an opportunity to win 7 games, go to the postseason, play in a bowl game, get those extra practices with this coaching staff, a lot of you would have jumped on it and taken it immediately. It's been a great season for this football team. But again, I want to talk about Hendon Hooker and potentially entering the NFL draft. We'll get into that. As always, do me a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. If you're new to the Talkin' VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. If you enjoy the content, go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live or drop new content. We will be live tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, talking about the little bit of the recap of the Georgia game and then also looking ahead to these next two and just overall reactions to the season so far. So tune in for that. Saturday is going to be a busy day. Basketball team plays earlier in the day. Dauber and the Indy Kid will be going live immediately following that, and then another live stream immediately following the football game. But let's go ahead and jump into this article from Rocky Top Insider written by Rick Butler. Josh Heupel comments on NFL conversations with Hendon Hooker. And look, right out of the gate, when it comes to the NFL draft, the potential to go and earn that paycheck for you, for your family, you know, I never blame a kid for doing that. You can always go back to college. You can always go back. Once you sign that NFL contract, finishing your degree is not going to be a problem. But when you look at Hendon Hooker, he's going to be a super senior anyway. He's already going to finish his degree. So I would never blame him for going to the NFL. There were also some message board rumors on our Facebook group, the Talkin' VAWLS Facebook group. Somebody claiming that Tyon Evans was also going to be going pro and sitting out the last 2 games of the year in order to get ready for NFL Pro Day. I don't know that I believe that. Again, it's message board rumors. But, you know, Tyon Evans could benefit from coming back for another year. And I also think that Hendon Hooker could. But let's jump into the article here. It says Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker has been a revolutionary addition to Tennessee's offense this year. Combined with the knowledge that Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel and his staff have brought to the table, Hooker has been able to flourish, leading Tennessee to the 4th-ranked offense in the SEC. As the season has gone on, conversations have started to pop up about Hooker's potential NFL career. The redshirt senior quarterback is able to come back to Tennessee for another year, but could also forego his final season and enter the NFL draft. Again, I never fault a kid that's going to enter the draft, make money for him and his family. But the idea that there is this potential, again, going into the season, quarterback controversy, people behind Harrison Bailey, people behind Joe Milton, people behind Hendon Hooker. Not a lot of people even really bought into Hendon Hooker. Everybody goes back and looks at what he did at Virginia Tech. They did the same thing with Joe Milton at Michigan. But that's why you have to let things play out. Joe Milton obviously didn't work out here. Hendon Hooker had some serious success. And people, when he transferred, people had their doubts based on what he did at Virginia Tech. But change of scenery, new coaching staff, new schemes. Some guys, it works out when they transfer. The article goes on to say on Monday afternoon, Heupel spoke about how he goes about those conversations with his players. Says they'll happen as we finish the season. I think it's important that you finish the season the right way and kids make an educated decision. I've said it before, I think publicly with you guys, we want our players to have an opportunity at the next level. You want them to have a full career. You want them to make the right decision at the right time for them. So you get feedback from different people and present the information and help them make educated decision. I like that. And we've touched on this before when it comes to guys going pro. You want a coach that's going to be in their corner, right? I mean, obviously, Josh Heupel wants Hendon Hooker to come back. There's no doubt about it. But as a man, as a coach, as a mentor, you should always want what is best for the kid. And it seems like that's what Josh Heupel is selling there. But also, when I read that, and it's something that never really crossed my mind until I was reading this article from Rick Butler. You want to send guys to the NFL. Obviously, that's an obvious. That's a huge recruiting pitch. How many guys you put in the league? But take Hendon Hooker. This is a perfect example. If Hendon Hooker enters the NFL draft, what a selling pitch for Josh Heupel. All he has to do is walk into the living room of a quarterback and say, hey, look at Hendon Hooker. Look at what he did at Virginia Tech. 1 year in my system. In just 1 year, he went from not being able to start at Virginia Tech to being the starter at Tennessee to being NFL draft pick. What a selling pitch, especially when you start looking at the transfer portal, getting somebody to come in and play the quarterback position. Huge opportunity if Hendon Hooker does happen to enter the draft. Goes on to say, while I didn't get into too much detail about Hooker, that is fairly expected, but the quote does give a good idea about the conversations that Heupel and his quarterback are having or will be having as the season winds down over the next month and a half. Additionally, it shows the thought process that Heupel has with his entire team in general and the process that he has when it comes to his players declaring for the NFL draft. For Heupel, it's not about rushing kids to the NFL as soon as they have a good season. That may be the case for some, but ultimately it is about having the education behind the process, understanding what is best for players, their family, and then moving forward from there. And again, what's best for Hendon Hooker? I saw, it gets into the numbers here just a little bit. I saw one draft board that had him in the low hundreds. So what's that? Late third round, fourth round type pick? What's the difference between that money versus you come back for 2022? You put together a Heisman campaign. I don't care if you believe it, buy into it, or think it's possible. If Hendon Hooker comes back for another year, Tennessee needs to put together some type of media, some type of Heisman campaign, because that is a realistic opportunity to have his name mentioned in the national media. Huge opportunity. And that just adds to the recruiting pitch for Josh Heupel. Goes on to talk a little bit about the numbers here. Says, according to Sports Illustrated's recent NFL draft quarterback rankings, Hooker lists as the 20th quarterback in the draft class, one spot above Georgia quarterback JT Daniels, but is also behind Ole Miss Matt Corral and Auburn's Bo Nix. Where does that put you? What type of money situation does that put you in? I personally think Hendon Hooker would benefit greatly for coming back for one more year. Boost that draft stock. Have an opportunity to do something special with this football team. Leave a legacy. in Knoxville. How many times over the last 15 to 20 years have we talked about new coach comes in, recruiting class? That recruiting class can leave a legacy and be the group that turned around Tennessee football. What a legacy Hendon Hooker could leave behind. The schedule sets up nicely for this football team next year. Come back, boost that draft stock, and earn that money. Article wraps up here. Through his first 10 games at Tennessee, Hooker has racked up 2,138 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. However, what makes Hooker so dynamic is the running ability that he has in his repertoire. From a rushing perspective, Hooker has 130 carries for 465 yards and 4 touchdowns. Additionally, Hooker leads the team in rushing attempts and is only 60 yards behind Tennessee's leading rusher, Tyon Evans. What do you guys think? You know the deal. Hit that comment section. Let me know. I think we all want Hendon Hooker to come back for one more. What would you do if you were in his shoes and you had that opportunity to go make that money? Would you go, or would you come back and leave a legacy at the University of Tennessee? Hit the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on that. That is going to wrap it up for this one. If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. And just a reminder, join us tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time for Talkin' VAWLS Live. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. This is the Talkin' VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
VAWLS.